in an attempt to set the 19-year-old boy on the right path. The man locked him in the basement for months on end. The boy was chained up like a dog. No matter how hard he struggled, he could not break free from the chains. However, if he obeyed the man's instructions and took his lessons, the man would lengthen the chains and allow him a little more room to move about. If not, he would be subjected to a severe beating. If you feel sorry for this lad, then perhaps you should take a look at the misdeeds he committed before he was brought in, at an age when he ought to have been studying hard. Tommy neither studied nor worked. He spent his days hanging about in nightclubs, reveling in the world of drugs, and committing all manner of mischief, urination in public, theft, and bullying the weak. To describe him as lawless would be no exaggeration, for he believed himself to be the king of the world. Yet it was precisely this hopeless case who, that very night, caught the eye of a man who strictly adhered to the rules. Shortly after the thug Tommy was abducted, Chris interviewed a cleaner. His requirements for the role were extremely strict. Not only were addictive habits strictly forbidden, but even tattoos were prohibited. As it happened, Lena met all these criteria perfectly, and so, she was successfully hired, and turned up for her first cleaning job the very next day. But she hadn't anticipated just how strict her employer would be. Upon entering, she had to undergo a metal detector scan. She was also forbidden from bringing her mobile phone onto the premises. It had to be locked in a safe by the front door. Although she realized this series of procedures was highly unusual, Lena was desperate for money. Plus, Chris seemed like an honest sort, and his young son was very well behaved. The family didn't appear to be bad people, so she decided to take the job. That was until Chris led her down to the basement and saw Tommy, who was being held captive. Only then did Lena realize why the security measures were so strict. She immediately wanted to turn down the job, but Chris caught up with her, explaining that they were merely disciplining the child, and assuring her that no one in the house would come to any harm. Perhaps because well-paid jobs were genuinely hard to come by, Lena ultimately decided to accept the position. Chris then handed her a set of cleaning tools, which also included a pepper spray and a stun gun for self-defense. It wasn't long before Tommy spotted the newcomer, Lena, and begged her to help save him, but Lena acted as if she were deaf, completely ignoring his pleas. After Lena left, Chris brought Tommy his dinner, but Tommy unceremoniously knocked the food over, and declared that once he escaped, he'd split Chris's skull open. Shortly afterwards, Chris wheeled in a television, and played a video Tommy had previously uploaded online. In the video, Tommy was speeding along in a stolen car, and crashed into a lamppost by the roadside. Yet Tommy was relishing it, marveling at the high number of views. Looking extremely proud, Chris lectured him with a stern expression that his willful damage to property, drink driving, and taking a vehicle without the owner's consent, it is extremely reckless and dangerous. He then played a road safety educational video he and his son had filmed themselves, to make Tommy understand that such behavior was wrong. But this approach had absolutely no educational effect on Tommy. After Chris left, he began jumping about like a monkey, trying to break free from the restraints, but accidentally kicked over the chamber pot beside him, splashing himself all over.